The United States Coast Guard is once again at the center of a high-stakes operation in the Caribbean. According to two U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the matter, the Coast Guard is currently in active pursuit of a sanctioned vessel operating in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. Officials say the ship is part of what is known as Venezuela's Dark Fleet, a network of vessels used to evade U.S. and international sanctions on Venezuelan oil. These vessels often operate covertly, using deceptive tactics to conceal their true identity, cargo, and destination. One U.S. official described the situation in clear terms, saying the vessel is flying a false flag and is operating under a judicial seizure order. That means U.S. authorities have legal authorization to intercept and seize the ship if it is successfully stopped. The pursuit marks the latest escalation in U.S. efforts to crack down on sanctions evasion in the region. If the Coast Guard succeeds, this would become the third sanctioned vessel intercepted by U.S. forces in the Caribbean in just a matter of weeks. On Saturday, the Pentagon confirmed that U.S. forces interdicted a second tanker in the region. The White House later said that vessel was carrying oil subject to U.S. sanctions. Officials described the operation as part of a broader strategy to disrupt illegal oil shipments and prevent sanctioned crude from entering global markets. Earlier this month, U.S. authorities seized another sanctioned vessel known as the Skipper off the coast of Venezuela. That interception was the first in what now appears to be a sustained enforcement campaign targeting maritime sanctions violations tied to Venezuela. Together, these incidents point to an increasingly aggressive approach by the United States, aimed at disrupting what officials say is a well-organized and highly adaptive network. Dark fleet vessels are known to turn off tracking transponders, change ship names, falsify documentation, and operate under flags of convenience to avoid detection. U.S. officials say these tactics make enforcement difficult, but not impossible. Advances in maritime surveillance, intelligence sharing, and legal coordination have allowed U.S. authorities to identify and track suspect vessels with greater precision. The Coast Guard's role has been central. Operating alongside the Department of Defense and other federal agencies, the Coast Guard has expanded its presence in the Caribbean, focusing on interdiction, inspection, and enforcement operations tied to sanctions and illicit trade. While officials have not released the exact location of the current pursuit, they confirmed the vessel remains in international waters. That distinction is significant, as it determines the legal framework under which U.S. forces can operate. Officials declined to provide additional operational details, citing safety and security concerns as the pursuit continues. The sanctions on Venezuelan oil were imposed to pressure the government in Caracas, but U.S. officials say the continued use of dark fleet vessels undermines those measures. By intercepting these ships, Washington hopes to cut off a key source of revenue and send a message to shipping companies and intermediaries involved in sanctions evasion. For now, the outcome of the current pursuit remains uncertain. The vessel could be intercepted and seized, or it could attempt to evade capture by changing course, disabling tracking systems, or blending into busy shipping lanes. What is clear, however, is that the United States is intensifying its focus on maritime enforcement in the Caribbean. As officials put it, the goal is to make it increasingly difficult and increasingly risky for sanctioned oil to move undetected across international waters. As this operation continues, U.S. authorities say more actions could follow, signaling that the Dark Fleet is facing unprecedented scrutiny on the high seas.